And yeah, here we are with the one and only Mark Fairmont, live from Edinburgh.
Live from Edinburgh. It's the quiz of the week. I'm not wearing any pants. Film at 11. I'm not. Hi, Roland. You all right, pal?
Doing well.
Yeah.
Things are starting to slow down in the gaming circuit. I mean, there isn't really anything new that I have from my side. Well, I have received my Urban War pre-order.
Yeah.
And over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to do faction introductions and rules lawyering from me to the world about third edition. So yeah, looking forward to that. And other than that, preparing for our very own Carronade Wargames show.
Yeah. Well, we can touch on that in a little while because we've got a bit to talk about conventions. And what's coming up over the next few months. Touch on Salute, which was today. For those who managed, yesterday. Sorry, I'm getting confused with the days. For those who managed to get down, I hope you had a great time. We'll chat about it in a moment. Right, okay, so I'm just going to start sharing my screen with you. I'm going to start off with some sad news, unfortunately. So give me 2 seconds. Right, here we go. Right, so really sad news. This lovely gentleman here, one of the nicest guys in the gaming industry, Paul Sawyer, who's the co-founder of Games Workshop along with John Stallard. Sorry, Games Workshop, with Warlord Games. He's probably better known as the editor of White Dwarf for, I think he was the longest after Robin Jews. I think he was 7 years or 8 years, something like that. So Paul sadly passed away on the 27th of March. There's a small obituary here from Warlord Games. It is with great regret that we must announce the co-founder of Warlord Games, Paul Sawyer, passed away on the evening of the 27th of March 2025 after a long battle with brain cancer. Paul was a man of enormous character and fought tooth and nail to the very end, always in good spirits. He was a true friend to us all. That he passed surrounded by his loved ones and family is a blessing. We offer our sincerest condolences to Paul's family, his wife, Catherine, and his daughters, Holly, and his granddaughter, Aurora Rose, who we had the fortune enough to be able to meet before passing. Paul was not a man to be made a fuss of. He perhaps not even thank us for writing this short dedication. We believe it would be in his best wish we carry on unabated. We shall strive to continue to shape Warlord Games upon the immensely strong foundation he put in force. We raise our collective glasses to the late man. He will be sorely missed from everyone at Warlord Games. It's only juice, but God bless you, Paul. He was a very nice man. He helped me a lot when I first started off with Gamersweb. I got loads and loads of stuff to review through him, and he was a really nice guy. He was known as Fat Bloke. He was also known as Top Bloke as well when he was working at Games Workshop for a good reason. Okay, sad news out of the way. Let's get on to something else. Army Painter. So last month we talked about, or the last time we met, we talked about the Army Painters John Blanche paint sets. So they announced these early on. I think it was like it says 5th of April here. So I think it was probably about the 5th or 6th of April that these came out. Were announced. They are war paint fanatics that have been specially formulated to be historically accurate, and they've been verified by a World War II historian. So there are 3 sets. There is the British, there is the German, and then finally the American. Some of the paints in each set are very, very similar or identical. So you get a white and you get a black in each set. You also get a flesh wash and a strong tone in each set as well. Other paints are brand new for each set and specific. So you've got like a brown best type colour for the British, which obviously is like perfect for doing ammo pouches and stuff like that, and weapons, other things depending on what theatre you're in. That looks quite good. There's a couple of YouTubers who've done reviews of them. Peachy did a really good painting guide using all 3 paint sets, and he painted the Paul Sawyer tribute miniature that was released to raise money for Paul around Christmas time. So he painted that up using the British, because Paul's as a para in the miniature, and then he did the German, and then he also did the Marine as well. Sorry, the US soldier. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was just a Ranger. So I'll send you the link for that. You can put the in the description. What do you think about that? Actually having 3 dedicated paint sets. It works out at 60 paints each, altogether. 20 paints in each pot. They're £70, I think, or £80 for 60 paints.
I mean, putting these things into the sets together is something that you would, yeah. If you're saying me, well, this set exists, then my guess would be, oh yeah, Army Painter, yeah.
Yeah.
And they have established themselves as a brand of paints that you can just paint straight from the bottle. Yeah, you put your paints on and you're good. Yeah, you're good to go. And to tie themselves, one thing they have done very well, they have tied their paint to several miniature lines. For example, this just screams bold action to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the not only Warlord Games, since we were talking about Warlord Games, but also Mantic Games have aligned their painting styles with whatever Army Painter is is offering. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Mantic have just released, just before Christmas, they released the Halo paint set with the paints that were, specifically formulated to paint UNSC Marines and the Master Chief and what have you. And they're very, very good. These paints, though, they've actually been specifically formulated to match swatches from World War II uniforms.
Yeah.
Like I said, they've got a military, I think his name's David, some military expert has been involved, and he's looked through all the different things and verified the swatches. This guy's got like a massive military collection. So I think it's a good idea. I mean,
exactly. Look, when you have, especially with people that are trying a new miniature line, a new scale, a new era of for the tabletop experience, it is something like a one-stop shop. Oh, well, I'm grabbing my, I don't know, late war British, my late war Paras, my 101st Airborne, whatever. Yeah. Oh, here are the paints that I need, so I don't have to fiddle-faddle around with 7 different paint lines trying to get something that matches. No, this is, like you said, historically accurate. I can paint right out of the box, right out of the bottle, and it is probably for more experienced gamers that say, okay, I want this out of the box experience for something completely new, or people that are getting into gaming that say, well, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. This is exactly what I should be doing. So I just grab that. Yeah. And at that stage,
it's a really good idea.
Like you said, those 70 quid on top of the army you're buying isn't that much. And there certainly, it would be well advised to do smaller bundles, like 5 paints or so. Yeah. And say, okay, this is this. You could even tie this to a journey. Build your British Paras for World War II You know, similar to this subscription that Games Workshop was doing. So these are my immediate thoughts about that. So, and yeah, like I said, it's definitely the name that would come up if you told me, well, this is what's going on. Oh yeah, Army Painter. So very active over the last couple of weeks.
I mean, I've reached out to the Army Painter, but no one's replied to my email because I asked them, were they doing any other paint sets for the World War II? Were they going to be doing the Japanese? Were they going to be doing the Russians? Because both Japanese and Russians are really, really popular. I mean, I've got a Russian army for bolt action. They're both really popular in bolt action. But no
on that note, Flames of War just released the Pacific and Japanese rifle battalion or something. Really something that I see. There's still some box sets for Flames of War and Team Yankee very cheaply available. And yeah, the resurgence of these kind of just played out of the box sets. A company that tried to do that 10 years ago is no longer with us. Yes, Spartan Games.
Yeah, Spartan.
And for me, it's a positive sign that the current volatility, shall we say, that we all experience is not a thing that will last very long, because I don't think it would be a smart move to put together these bundles. Yeah, I mean, let's just face it. If you are going into the game like this, or into a game like this, you're talking about an initial investment of 3 digits. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with most hobbies. You know, if you're gonna, I mean, wargaming is expensive, but it's not the most expensive hobby. Sorry, I've just moved my mouse and something popped up. It's not the most expensive hobby. There are quite a few. I mean, if you want to expense, golf is very expensive. Photography is hella expensive. You know, I've paid £600 for a lens, and not batting an eye at it. 3D printing, it's cheap once you get the initial setup, but to get your initial setup can be £500-600 before you even, print anything out for the first time. Not including the cost of your materials, not including the power, and then the cleanup and dealing with hazardous materials and stuff like that. But anyway, I think this is a good idea, and I think Army Painter are probably onto a winner. When Peachy did the review, which I will send you the link for, he painted over on a black primer on one of the miniatures. I think it was the German Vollstänger, and they came out perfect, covering really, really easily. And I started to paint something the other day using one of the Halo paints on a black primed miniature, and it came out without a problem. One coat, which was great. And the paint wasn't too thick, which was brilliant. We were talking about the paint pens a few episodes ago. There's a couple of people doing bundles of these now, and I don't think they're going to be as popular as, maybe these paints.
I think if more than just one or two are jumping in, then it looks like a quick cash grab before the new and fancy feeling is fading out. But look at it from this point of view. I am painting my Viridians with MP miniature paints right now.
Yeah.
Again. And it is not the largest range of paints, but it does what it is supposed to do. And even for someone like me, it's very easy to paint very, very nicely.
Yeah, and they're cheap.
Yeah, they're not that expensive. And it's just to show that consistency and sticking around is a quality of its own.
Well, miniature paints have been around for a long, long time, a long, long time. And Roger and the guys at Gamecraft do some brilliant stuff, and they have done for decades. Okay, so that was a quick touch on Warlord Games and also Army Painter. So the next thing I've got up is a couple. Humble Bundle. It's a website where you can buy various collections of books, games, or software, and you buy them at a cheap price. So I first was introduced to this by our friend George. He introduced me to this and said, like, you're into photography, try this. It's got, I think it was Portrait Pro 8 at the time. And it was that with all the add-ons or something, it was like £18, whereas Portrait Pro on its own was 36 quid at the time. And I thought, it must be a scam or something, but it's not. It is not a scam. I've used Humble Bundle. I've got lots and lots of their stuff. So this is interesting for gamers, whether you're a role player or you're not a role player. If you're a war gamer, it can be interest. So this software bundle gives you the entire 39 item bundle for £23.60. You get all of these products here. So you get City Designer, Dungeon Designer, Fractals 3, and then you get Cosmographer 3, which also includes the deck plans for building ships in Traveller. Obviously, it'll be brilliant for things like Stargrave and 5 Parsecs from Home. Fantasy floor pans, modern day symbols and floor pans. Cities of Shelish 4 and 5 token sets, monsters, tombs and catacombs, world builders, lots and lots of stuff. There's all 17 of the campaign cartographer annuals, which normally retail at £34 each. And then as we go down to the bottom, where is it? There it is. So you have campaign cartographer itself, which is £44. The cheapest way you can get this is £11.58, and you get campaign cartographer 3, as well as some of the stuff in the bundle. But if you pay £23, you get all of that, which is pretty good. More aimed towards the role players than war gamers, but you can make some good stuff even if you're not a role player. Right, so books wise, I have used this so many times. I've got complete collections of Pathfinder, complete collections of Starfinder, Fallout, Star Trek Adventures, lots of role-playing stuff. But it's not just role-playing stuff, because the Fallout stuff had miniatures as well, and STLs for miniatures. So the one we're looking at here is the Battletech collection, which gives us the role-playing game collection for Battletech. So you've got all these things here, like the Battletech manual, universe, time of war. These are all the things that come with it. Then you've got all the recognition guides. These things are not cheap normally to buy, but for everything, I think it works out at £13.89. So even if you play Battletech and you just want to see what your mechs are and what have you just get the recognition manuals. All these are in PDF format. They're really accessible. You just put them on your phone. And then finally in the books, we also have 2 others. We've got Dragonlance for the role players, which has got all the Wizard of the Coast TSR Dragonlance stuff. And we've also got Delta Green, which is Call of Cthulhu meets Black Hawk Down meets Call of Duty. So pretty good going. So those are available now. The Humble Bundles are only around for a few more. Sorry, I think it's about a week for the Battletech one. Can't see, where does it say? 5 days. So it's 5 days for that one and 5 days for the other one. So hopefully by the time you get this up, there's still be a couple of days left. Speaking of short time, we've also got this here, which is my final thing before we get onto the con thing. Right, so Dungeons and Lasers, Port Haven from Archon Studios. Now, mentioned in the past that I've had problems with Archon. I'm going to put that aside because this is important. It raised its goal in 2 minutes and 17 seconds. It was funded in 2 minutes and 17 seconds. And what you get for your money is this huge ship and lots of other bits and pieces to play on, to play with, sorry. They've unlocked a lot of stretch goals. We've got 2 days left, and it's on $1,664,740 at the moment, with 4,366 backers, which is quite a lot. So we'll go to the stretch goals and see what stretch goals have been unlocked. So as well as getting your miniature sets, there's lots of different tiers. You've also got the chance to get all these stretch goals. So they've got a quest book with all the different things that are about to be released. And these are the ones that haven't been released, like there's Naga, Will-o'-the-Wisp, and those things. Then there's another big super stretch goal, Eye from the Trench. That's probably going to be hit when it reaches, it needs 85,000 in 2 days, which it should make. So all of these have all been unlocked. Lots and lots of stuff. There's a Hydra, which is about 9 inches tall. There's Water Dragon, again, big one. Sea Giant, and then the Docks, and then finally there's a Sea Serpent. They've all been unlocked, and they're going to be available at pledges. Now, full pledge is $349 without shipping. Shipping is, I think it was $12 on top of the price for the shipping, and then that's a lot of money to pay out in Awana. But they also do, I think, is it fund game stretch, which allows you to pay over 5 months. So by the time the game comes out in September, you'll have paid for it. And there's 3 different versions of the ship, which is 28 inches long and 22 inches tall. So that's pretty big, you know, almost 3 feet long. There's a ghost ship, which is molded and translucent. You can get it pre-painted for an extra $100, or you can get it plastic. They're all plastic models. Everything that is here is all plastic, and same with the playable ship. So I thought that was worth bringing up. What are your thoughts, sir? Yes, it's me. I'm back. So, thoughts from you?
On what? I think a lot of things. And one of the things, it leads onto what we wanted to say about Salute. One of the things I immediately saw, one of the companies that went to Salute are the guys from WWII Verlag, who just released Chronopia, and Salute is the big release day. And literally, one of the first comments somebody put out there when the team said, "We are set up at Salute, come and visit us." The comment was, "So people that go to Salute are getting the stuff before I get it as a backer."
Yeah.
Which reminds me, since you mentioned Archon/Protoss, yeah, it's literally my age, my experience, and we both have been on the inside, and unfortunately both me a lot less burnt than you.
Yeah.
But when you see this kind of person, and literally one of the first comments, I mean, what are they supposed to do? They are supposed to say, well, we are not going to Salute. Yes, we are going to Salute, but we're not giving this game to anyone except you, because you are so important. And I'm like, who are you? The universe is not circling around you, for crying out loud.
No.
And this is the other comment I to go on about Salute. And the comment was basically same old, same old.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, what do you expect? I mean, I don't know what people expect. I was, frankly, I mean, let's start with that perhaps. I was disappointed in last year's Claymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
It is. Right. So I used to go to games conventions and games shows all over the UK for many, many years. This is where we used to fund the hobby. We used to get stuff in the summer, paint it up and sell it in the winter, or paint it up in the spring and then sell it in the summer. And it kept on funding our hobby. And we just put it on the bring and buys and stuff. The bring and buys are dying because they're being replaced by these flea markets. Carronade doesn't have a bring and buy, it's got a flea market. Claymore doesn't have a bring and buy, it's got a flea market. But there has been issues with the bring and buy at Claymore over the years, especially with people like you put something on the bring and buy, and one of the people who's behind the bring and buy sees it and says, "Oh, I'll have that," and they put it under the table, and you're walking around as a customer, you think, "Oh, it's sold, I can't see it." And you go back at the end of the day, and it's not sold; it's been put under the table because somebody wanted to buy it, and then they've spent the money on moon pie and lollipops and bought something else, and you missed out on that. So you don't get anything at all. So you end up having to take back what you took with you. Flea market's a little bit different because you control it yourself, and you pay a minimum fee. I think it's £5 at Claymore and for an hour, and it's £2 at Carronade for an hour. So, but I think the maximum you can do is 2 hours. I don't think you can do more than 2 hours. So that's one thing. But last year's Claymore, that was dire. That was really dire. I was struggling to find anything to buy. There was very little new out, although there's a lot of new stuff that had been released. In the end, I ended up getting stuff from the guys at Lancashire Games, basically just so I could buy something. And I wanted to give my friends money because I'd rather give Lancashire Games money than anybody else. And then Carronade was the complete opposite. Carronade was, I spent £200 at Carronade, which I couldn't afford to do. And I spent, was it £90 in like the first 5 minutes of the show opening at War Bases? You know, and they're like, oh my God.
I can vouch for that. So
yeah.
Even before I set up the gaming table, we were there as a demo team.
Yeah.
Where is Mark? And he comes heavily laden, with an
boxes.
empty wallet. So
yes. Yeah. But this year, Salute. I've not been to Salute since 2006 when Mongoose released Starship Troopers, and I was at Salute to launch Starship Troopers, and that was bedlam. It was absolutely manic, and I think there was like about 16,000 people in attendance. I could be wrong, but I think there was. Last year, there was 7,000 people, just over 7,000 people. I've been to anime conventions that have got way more than 7,000 people going. Edinburgh Comic Con was, on average, getting like 11,000, 12,000 people going through the doors each day during the 3 days of the con. And see, the Salute is like the premier game show in the UK and is only on for 1 day of the year. You know, and it's in the middle of nowhere because it's in the Excel Centre in London. So unless you live in London, you've got to pay a lot of money to get there. So there's a lot of big names there. So Games Workshop had a small presence.
The only thing that really could compare to Salute was Crisis in Antwerp. I don't think that is even on anymore.
I think Crisis stopped
right after Brexit.
After Brexit, I think Crisis stopped. It was either after Brexit or the pandemic killed it off and they never restarted it again. Because that was one of the shows that I wanted to go with you, because obviously in Antwerp. But there's a lot of big names that can Salute again this year. So like Warlord Games were there. I think Games Workshop had a small presence. Mantic Games had a big presence. Modifius
was there. Modifius, a couple of a lot of small traders actually.
Yeah, lots of. Well, that's the good thing about going to Salute. You get small traders like Bad Squid or Games going there, and they do like amazing models. The Moonstone models their boards were amazing. If you get the chance, check out the videos. I'm going to send the links to Roland for the Salute coverage from the guys on Tabletop and Sword and Steel. And there's another one whose name I can't remember, unfortunately. But they've done some coverage of the video of the actual event itself, and looking at the tables and the traders and what have you. And some of the tables were just phenomenally good. You know, talking hundreds of hours been put into them.
We have seen some really good tables at Carronade and Claymore last year.
Yes,
yeah? So that's not to say there is still stuff going on, but
well, we will be covering Carronade this year. We'll cover it. I don't think we'll be able to do it live because we're both doing demo games, but we will go around.
You will. Unfortunately, mea culpa. We are on the waiting list, but I mean, you are getting in with Mantic.
I'm going in with Mantic.
So,
So if you go to Carronade on the 3rd of May at Falkirk High School, sounds like it's very small. It's not. It's massive. There's loads. I think there's like 80 trade stalls there, and loads and loads and loads of participation games. I was totally blown away when I went last year because I'd never been before. Well worth going. Well worth picking up. And it's like a $5 to get in.
Great team, great organizers. Team. Yep.
And they're very, 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 very helpful as well.
Also, the range of traders that attend.
Yes.
One thing that stood out for me. This is why I started with Claymore and this whole rant, is that some of the people that are at Claymore or were at Claymore last year went to Carronade as well, and now the size of those shows seems to have reversed.
Yes.
So I am really looking forward. I mean, there is limited space. I think they are at capacity with traders and with the demo teams.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, what I was gonna say. I mean, what did you expect? On one hand, these gaming conventions were for me something you see new stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
And you have at least the larger ones, at least the larger traders have amazing deals there. So I do remember Kenny went to a Carronade and said, I don't want to take any of my Warzone Resurrection stuff back. So I don't know how many £100 I spent, but I have truckloads of Warzone Resurrection unbuilt somewhere. So, and yeah, at the end of the day, he also said, well, if I still have 20 blisters of Urban War stuff, just take them off me. So yeah. So I mean,
Claymore. Salute to Dan. Sorry, not Claymore. It's yesterday. The guys there. There were lots of big traders there. There were lots of small traders. Friends of ours like Pendraken were there. They were showing off the 6 mil Future War Commander, which looks brilliant. There was a lot of people around the table playing games. Early feedback that I've got from friends who went was that it was a lot quieter than they expected. It was quieter than last year by a long shot, which we noticed last year with Claymore, that Claymore was very quiet. Now, I've got a feeling that Claymore's going to be quiet again this year. And I've also got a feeling that Carronade's going to be really, really busy. It's going to be rammed. And then September, Claymore's the 3rd of August. September, we've got Tabletop Scotland at the Royal Horticultural Centre here in Edinburgh. And they had crazy numbers every day last year. And there was a lot of big traders there. Warlord were there. War bases were there. Mantic, Modifius, and loads of other people selling games and stuff. And this year, the list is even bigger this year. And it's not even finished.
Pendraken is not going. Pendraken is not going. I asked Leon, and he said, no, we are going to Carronade, and Claymore we are not going to. But you never know how things may change. And moving from Dundee to Edinburgh has done the show quite well.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, I mean, they could have rejected me nicer last year. So yeah, no, I do take that personal. So yeah, no, but I think the show circuit is a bit oversaturated, and in the current economic climate with Brexit, with everything that's going on there, you won't get a 90% off deal of the newest stuff at the next gaming convention. So
Yeah.
if you are getting traders to match online large retailers' prices, that's already a great thing. And again, going back to that first comment on the post from Chronopia, do you want the game to and the trader to succeed?
Yeah.
Or do you just
you just want your stuff?
No, it's not even. I don't think it's even about wanting your stuff. It's about me attention now.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
So and it is like maybe it's my age. Yeah, I've grown out of that stuff. But no, the next thing I won't be able to order it before Carronade, but I am expanding my my World War II British Paras from Pendragon instead of buying the Flames of War stuff. Yeah, so I'd rather buy it from Leon because he lives a little bit closer. Yeah, so and another trader that I want to see succeeding, and yeah, that's it. It's I guess the show circuit becoming a little smaller is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it depends on the type of people that are coming.
Yeah, I think having a smaller show that is well organized is much better than having a huge show that isn't well organized. Now, one of the big takeaways from Salute this year was the fact that they put wider gaps between the aisles. So the aisles were much wider, so you had more room, which probably made it look empty because the aisles were so, large. Last time I went to Salute, it was very claustrophobic. There were a lot of people. It was very, very hot because it was like middle of a heat wave in early April, and there was no air conditioning, and you're basically an aircraft hangar. And there's thousands of people in an aircraft hangar, all closed in. You can't breathe. Comic Con's the same. Comic Con at the XL is just like terrible. You can't breathe because there's like 35,000 people in one room with very little space. So that was a positive. Don't know how it did sales-wise. Don't know how it did numbers-wise. That's just going to have to come out in the wash. But the friends I've spoken to have said that they enjoyed it if it was quiet.
And I just got something. Crisis 2025. So it is on November 1st.
November 1st. Yeah.
Yep. And last year, a couple of traders were unable to come, especially for the British traders. It is quite difficult to go there. So basically, you have to have an inventory list of everything that you take out of the UK.
Yeah.
You have to take an inventory of your stuff that you're taking back after crisis.
Yes.
So it's really, it would be worth it if you are just going there with a team and you have your manufacturing in Europe, which no trader or that used to go to crisis actually has. So I don't think Leon is thinking or discussing this.
Yeah.
Instead, they have taken over a couple of lines from other traders that no longer go to or no longer in business. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, let's have a look out at crisis. and plan it for, if not this year, then next year. I
Yeah,
think
we could
very,
do.
very interesting.
I mean, I'd like to go to Spiel, so in Essen, for the game of the year, because that's everything: role playing, miniature gaming, war gaming, Euro gaming, massive show, and it's only beaten in size by Gen Con in the US, or Worldcon. I think Worldcon might be slightly bigger, but that's on for 5 days, and just depends how expensive it is to get to Germany, because I know you've got to fly to Dusseldorf, and then you've got to catch a train from Dusseldorf to Essen, which is another 3 hours or something like that on the train. You know, it's one of those things you can't do it in a day. You're going to have to stay overnight, and then accommodations, another thing, which is why Salute being in London, because it's put on by South East London Wargames Club, you know, they put it on every year. So they put the show on in their own city, which is understandable because it's their own city. But if they move to Birmingham, they'd probably be they'd have like even more people turning up, which is what Dragon Meats did. Dragon Meat moved from London to Birmingham and doubled its number, tripled its number, going from London to Birmingham. So I don't think they'll do that. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but you never know. So the con circuit is, I don't think it's dead, and I don't think it's dying, but there's not as many people releasing new stuff at cons, with the exception of Adepticon. So Adepticon this year, Games Workshop went all out and they said, this is what's coming out. But they didn't have those products there. They had a few new products, but they didn't have those products there. So the big thing from Games Workshop at the moment is the what we call it, Emperor's Children faction being released for 40k, and they weren't available at Adepticon. They're only coming out next weekend. They only went live yesterday, I think it was. The miniatures look absolutely insane. They really do. I don't want to buy them because it's Games Workshop and I can't afford it. I can't afford a Games Workshop whole-sized thing in my wallet anymore. But I am very, very, very tempted with the cafe miniatures that were also announced at Adepticon. But we'll have to see how much it is for the tome when it comes out. So sorry for ranting. If you've been to a games show or you haven't been to a games show, let us know in the comments below, down here somewhere. And what were your experiences? Did you enjoy it? Have you never been to a game show? If you want to go to one, just type into Google Wargames calendar 2025, and it'll give you a list of all the Wargames shows that are running on in the UK and Ireland for the next 7 months, 6 months, 8 months, 7 months, 8 months. I can't count. 8 months. I've got to go a cat evading me. For the next 8 months, it'll tell you what Wargame shows are on around the UK and in Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland. I should have just said Ireland, really, shouldn't I? But well worth checking out.
I was about to say, please, no hard feelings about this.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I would love to have gone to Salute, but for the price of going to Salute for a weekend from Edinburgh, including accommodation and transport to get down there, it's only £15 to get into Salute, which is nothing. But to get from Edinburgh to London and then across London to the Excel, which is, I think it's 48 miles outside of London, so you've got to pay to get there, and then going back again, and I'd have to stay overnight, but I'd have to go down on the Friday, and then either leave Salute early on the Saturday, and then rush across town to catch the train, or stay overnight on Saturday. So if I stayed overnight Friday and Saturday, plus train fare to get to London, plus all that, you're looking at the best part of £650, which is not cheap. I can get a week's holiday abroad for that, all inclusive. So oh well.
Yeah, I guess financially it is one thing, but just like you said, if you have not been to a game show, check it out and go to a local show, be part of the show.
Be part of it, yeah. Join in.
And
we say this every time we say, like, introduce a friend to gaming. Go and find a games
It is
club.
a great experience to go there, and with the exception of my time abroad from the UK, I have visited every single Carronade since 2013.
Yeah.
So and every Claymore since 2014 or 2015. Yeah, 2014.
Yeah. Well, we've got other things coming up as well. Like I've got QCon coming up in Belfast.
Yep.
I fly back from Ibiza on the Thursday and then fly out to Belfast on the Friday. So I am going to be absolutely wrecked by Monday.
So if you are at one of the shows that we attend, say hello.
Say hello. Yeah, come over and don't be a stranger. UK Games Expo. That's the end of May. So that's like, just a couple of months, less than a couple of months, like about 30 days away.
1 month, yeah.
1 month is about 30 days away. It's the end. It's last weekend. It's the bank holiday weekend of May. Sorry, I'm forgetting what I'm on. I totally am. My brain's completely screwed because I've had my son all week and he's driven me crazy and I don't know where I am. Is it bedtime yet?
Yeah, I was about to say it is getting close to our bedtime. So
yeah.
I think that is a good moment
Yeah.
to say get your friends into gaming, join us at one of the shows.
Yeah.
And yeah, stay healthy, stay safe, and we will play soon.
We will. Take it easy, folks. See you soon.